Hi there, friends. I'm Vasco. I'm part of the team behind the first global Scrum Master Summit. If you're a Scrum Master, the Scrum Master Summit is a place to learn, to share, and to meet new friends. We will have lots of live sessions where you can meet and network with other Scrum Masters from all over the globe. So make sure you check it at bit.ly/SM Summit and the numeral 21. That's bit.ly/SMSUMMIT21. We have 7 amazing keynotes or more, as we are still organizing the conference as I record this, and 8 tracks that feature people like you and thought leaders sharing their insights and knowledge to help you become an awesome Scrum Master. So once again, check it out at bit.ly/SM Summit 21. That's all lowercase, all one word, SM Summit and the numeral 21. I'll see you on the virtual conference floor. All right, now on to the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to one more week of the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. And this week, joining us from London in the UK is Ines Garcia. Hi, Ines. Welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone.
So Ines is an Agile Coach and a Certified Scrum Professional, also a Salesforce MVP. She focuses on helping organizations every day to become more agile whilst delivering Salesforce technology. She consults, speaks, and trains in these arenas, always with the end in mind of enabling an evolution, not a revolution. Ines, that was a short intro to you. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and how did you end up becoming a Scrum Master?
Thanks, Vasco. So you had a great summary. How I became a Scrum Master? Well, once upon a time, I was born in Barcelona. How far shall we go?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So many things happen in our life that are perhaps even determining for our choice of jobs and what we find as our vocation. So maybe start with that. Like, what was that one moment when you said, "Okay, being a Scrum Master and doing things in an agile way is what I want to do"?
So I come from business transformation background, and that's transformation is such a heavy word. And understanding resistance to change and like rapid response from system and human side of things is kind of key for that. And I'm someone that really likes to constantly learn, and I do my own research, and I came about this agile this, agile that. So I made my own spin of things. For example, I will do with my team stand-ups twice a week. And honestly, things didn't quite ferment in the way that I expected. So after a while, I sent myself into a Scrum Master course. And well, after 2 days, of course, no one doesn't master anything really. But it did bring light to things. So I started to implement this rhythm. That's how I normally define what Scrum is. It helps you to get into a rhythm back with the team in a startup consultancy. And just a year later, I took the advanced Scrum Master course with Jeff Watts and Paul Goddard. And I repeat kind of again in 2019 for the Certified Scrum Professional. And in that journey, I have experimented with many teams. One could say that I experiment with humans for a living. So, from professional services, manufacturing, retail, health and life science, utilities, even a roofing company, which also they do find bugs when they go to site, and they also do spikes and investigations to reduce uncertainty and tackle their problems. So that's, in a nutshell, more or less how I came about.
Yeah, that's very interesting, especially the background in many different industries, which makes the next question also very interesting. So we as Scrum Masters, we go through our journey just like the one you describe. And obviously, as we try to learn and practice the things we've learned or researched or read about, sometimes we hit walls, and those walls, those obstacles, those problems we face as Scrum Masters are, of course, pearls of knowledge waiting to be found. And that's why we want to talk about one of those stories of failure, Ines, that you, as a Scrum Master, you did your best, but at that time, as we all are, you were still in that position in the learning journey that you weren't ready to take that challenge and you failed. And that's okay, because we all do. But tell us that story, and then we dive into the learnings and the experience you got out of it.
So, dear, which one to pick? I think it was one of my first placements as a Scrum Master. I work for myself, so having a solely Scrum Master contract was an important step for me to solidify the learnings. Also, I put a lot of pressure to make a dent. So looking back, one of the worst moves I made there was when a third-party consultant asked me my very first day in a rather weird kind of whispering and hurrying way. So what is this Scrum thing? So I talk about the how rather than the what. I kind of mumble around without a straight answer. And somehow I popped that the Scrum Master comes and goes, as my contract was there only for a few months. Even that after that kind of got extended. So it was really difficult to recover from this really bad first step. And I think in line with that, what I did that I shouldn't, it was assumed that we all in the team had the same understanding with Agile. Instead, I kind of just follow their motions that they had, such as the daily being kind of a bingo game, a status report calling stories or tickets by their numbers, right? Like I'm working in 3, 2, 1. So really, really difficult to recover and, end up with a confused team and some kind of tense sessions.
So one of the things that you said, which is not necessarily wrong, it depends on us, Scrum Masters, and how we take it, is that you started by following their motions. Tell us what that was, and today, if you were back there at that moment, what you would have done different?
So I think the danger is following the motions without emotions. So, for example, the daily stand-ups, I think I should have infused some reasoning behind being there and coming together to make a plan towards our common goal rather than just being on that bingo game of giving each other status updates of tickets numbers, which does not talk to us or help us to remind us the value that we're there to deliver. So I think if I look at the learnings from these things, is one, prep your pitch. So ask yourself, how can you convey interest and clarity? Why are you there in a kind of memorable and relatable way for your team? And second is have a fundamental session, so where you can co-create something tangible with your team members, so you can refer back to and have a common understanding where you stand, at least to start with.
Absolutely. One of the things that comes to mind is when we talk about this, you said talk about the numbers, right? Talk about the numbers of the issues. One of the things that comes to mind is that we are not allowing the team, when we focus on just reporting the issue number. I'm working on 357 and I'm working on 589 or whatever. So we kind of create a barrier, a communication block between team members, right? Because, I mean, some people will probably remember what the issues are about when we talk about numbers, but most will not. And they don't create an understanding of what is actually going on. Because, I mean, when I say, well, I'm working on the problem with the users entering a mobile phone and the number not being validated correctly, then I know that, oh, yeah, wait, I found a problem similar to that in a previous job and I can help, right? So we're kind of creating an obstacle if we just allow the team to focus on the numbers, knowing that they are focusing on different numbers and therefore not even necessarily understanding what each other's work is.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things that I think it makes a big difference, having experience and being with the team. When I was saying before, you go to a 2 day course and you don't really master anything. It's important to go through this and see how the different interactions and the narratives that you have and how small changes can make a big difference.
Absolutely. So what is your pitch these days, as that was one of the key tips you got us from this story?
So it would depend who I'm talking with, but I do a lot of work around the Salesforce technology. So I will say that I'm there to help the organization or the team to become more agile whilst delivering Salesforce technology. In terms of agile, there is this definition from John Smart, which is about delivering better value sooner, safer, and happier. And I really like what that brings to the table. I generally have a session with the team where we were going through what does better value means to us, what does safer means to us, what sooner, not necessarily earlier, faster. So yeah, using those words, I think it really helps to make it relatable to what people ultimately wants their work to be, and the joy and the effort that they put every day.
Absolutely. Well, do give me that link so I can link to that definition of agile in the show notes so that people can look at it and reflect on it. Thank you very much for that story, Ines.
Thank you.
Monday is about what we learn from our obstacles and our failures. But tomorrow is Team Tuesday here on the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. We explore teams and their journeys, the habits they develop that threaten their performance, how each of our guests helped their teams evolve, and the one key lesson they learned from that experience. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.